All right, so you wanted to deep dive into September 18th.
September 18th. All right, let's do it.
You know, a date that might not seem all that remarkable at first glance.
Yeah, not exactly a date that screams, history was made.
Exactly.
All right.
But, as we're about to find out, some pretty wild stuff went down on this unassuming day.
Oh, absolutely. We're talking about Roman emperors meeting untimely ends, the birth of inventions that changed the very fabric of human interaction.
And even a game-changing moment in the world of sports and entertainment. And it all happened on September 18th. Who knew, right? Right. So, let's rewind the clock a bit. Way back to the year 253 AD. We're in ancient Rome.
Not exactly known for its calm and peaceful transfers of power. Not even a little bit. This was a time of intense turmoil, the crisis of the 3rd century, as historians call it. The Roman Empire, despite its might, was teetering on a knife's edge. Power struggles, economic instability, threats from within and outside its borders, you name it, they were dealing with it.
And smack dab in the middle of this chaos, we find our unfortunate protagonist, Emperor Aemilianus.
Aemilianus. Poor guy. He takes the reins of an empire in utter disarray, and get this, how long do you think he managed to hold on to power?
Well, given the whole crisis of the 3rd century backdrop, I'm guessing not long at all.
You got it. Try a whopping 3 months. Just 3 months after ascending to the most powerful position in the Western world, Aemilianus met a rather unfortunate end.
Let me guess. Assassinated.
Bingo.
Yeah.
And by his own troops, no less. Talk about a vote of no confidence. And you know what's fascinating? His successor, Valerian, didn't fare much better.
It's like a real-life Game of Thrones, except with togas and gladiators.
And it highlights a recurring theme in Roman history, the immense power of the army and the constant threat of usurpation. These emperors, they weren't just grappling with external threats, they were constantly looking over their shoulders, wary of the very people who pledged loyalty to them.
It makes you wonder about the kind of pressure they must have been under, constantly on edge, never knowing who to trust.
Absolutely. And this instability at the top, it had a ripple effect throughout the entire empire. Weakened defenses, economic turmoil, and a decline in morale, all stemming from this constant power struggle.
So from the cutthroat world of ancient Roman politics to something a little closer to home, or at least closer to our hearts.
Let's jump ahead now to September 18th, 1878.
The day the microphone was invented. It's almost impossible to imagine a world without it, right? I mean, here we are, talking into them right now.
It's such a ubiquitous device, so ingrained in our lives, that we rarely stop to think about its impact. But think about it, broadcasting, telecommunications, even just the ability to amplify someone's voice to reach a larger audience. None of it would be possible without the microphone.
It completely revolutionized how we communicate. And what's even more remarkable is that it wasn't some isolated invention that came out of nowhere. It was directly linked to Alexander Graham Bell's work on the telephone, which just goes to show how interconnected scientific advancements can be.
Precisely. It's like a chain reaction of innovation, with each breakthrough paving the way for the next. Makes you wonder what the next microphone will be.
What's going to come along and completely change the way we interact with the world? Speaking of game changers, our final September 18th historical tidbit might be right up your alley if you're a sports fan.
Oh, is this the one about the first televised NFL game? I did read something about that.
You got it. September 18th, 1939. The world of sports and entertainment as we know it was about to change forever.
This was still the very early days of television. I mean, we're talking a tiny fraction of households even had a TV set. But on that day, a regular season game between the Brooklyn Dodgers and the Philadelphia Eagles was beamed into living rooms.
In grainy black and white, no less.
Exactly. It was a far cry from the high-definition spectacle we're accustomed to today. Most people probably didn't even realize they were witnessing the birth of a multi-billion-dollar industry.
To talk about an unexpected birthplace. Right, not exactly Times Square.
Right, Brooklyn, 1939. It just goes to show that these pivotal moments in history, they can pop up in the most unlikely of places.
It's like a historical Easter egg hunt sometimes, uncovering these seemingly small events that had a monumental impact. So there you have it, September 18th. 3 seemingly ordinary days, each holding a piece of history that continues to resonate today.
From the rise and fall of empires to the inventions that shape our daily lives and the evolution of how we experience entertainment, history is anything but boring.
It's about those unexpected connections, the ripple effects of seemingly small events. Who would have thought a Roman emperor's assassination, the invention of the microphone, and a random NFL game in Brooklyn would have anything in common?
And that's the beauty of it all, right? You never know what you're going to uncover when you dig a little deeper into those overlooked corners of history. It makes you realize that We're all part of this ongoing story.
And it makes you wonder, what seemingly insignificant events happening right now today will future generations look back on as turning points?
What will be the September 18th of their time? It's a thought-provoking question, and one that I hope our listeners will ponder on as we wrap up this deep dive.
Absolutely. You never know, the things we take for granted today might just end up in the history books of tomorrow.